the average strength of the opponent that you play. So we're saying that every team in this league table that we have are playing the same average strength opponent across the whole season.
So you play tough teams as well as you play easy teams.
Chart before this?
So this is sort of the strength of schedule, kind of like strength of your schedule.
So ranking points versus team versus whose team?
Yeah, this is team strength. So this is your team strength versus your ranking points. These graphs are essentially reality checks. We wanted to make sure that they are in correlation, that they are moving in the correct direction.
So team strength
is calculated by the number of wins over the total number of games that you play. Now, the team strength itself, that variable is not counted.
300 implies what?
300 implies your total ranking points.
That's right. Then 1.0 implies what?
It's your strength.
You just said that was wins divided by number.
Which is calculated by, team strength is calculated by the number of wins over the total number of games that you play.
So I won one game out of one game. What are those numbers?
Or you win 30 games out of 30 games. It's what your win percentage.
It's a ratio.
2 means I won 30 games out of 15 games.
No. It's our.
What does 2 mean?
Our strength variable is calculated by 1 plus the ratio of the wins over the total number of games.
Okay.
It's a scale between 1 and 2 because if it's a multiply below 1, then it counts against the team. You understand what I mean?
Well, it wouldn't matter if you have one or don't have one. It's the same regression.
Right. It shouldn't matter.
When we multiply it.
It's the same regression. So now we have ranking points versus team strength. That's what, like you say, is a reality check.
Yeah.
So now we have. So you're saying that team strength
is correlated with how highly ranked.
So you're saying the ranking system then
because
is a good ranking system because it correlates highly to team strength.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. So now you're saying the ranking points then should be a prediction of one team beating another team.
Exactly, and that's what we use for a simulation.
So you use for your
forecast. Sorry.
Forecast.
Yeah.
So then, how do you then simulate or forecast one team against another?
So we plug it into the equation that we have.
What equation is that?
Just go backwards.
Yeah, there we go. That one.
So you say goal difference is the team rank minus the opponent. Okay.
Yeah.
All these are variables. So
and you took that and you fit that against for games that were actually played.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And so
every single dot here is a game that was played.
Okay. So then, but these were but you have different leagues.
We limited to one league.
Yeah, we did one.
You took one league.
Right. Well, there are over 120 teams in that one league.
Okay. And so now this ranking will be applied
to that league only.
Just to that league. It can't be used for.
As more data gets, it just is based on the data that's inputted.
Okay. So you can't rank against teams that have played in another league someplace else.
If you have enough data, it will rank.
Yeah. Because
it dynamically.
Well, you don't know what team rank. You don't know. If you had like region, like if you had teams. This is from the Boston area. Where's this?
No, it's all across the country.
It's all across the country.
All across the country. It's based on the
game. So you could. So some of these.
As long as the teams are in Bantam 95 AAA, this will be calculated.
But most of the teams don't play most of the other teams.
Right. Yes.
They just play the teams in their area.
So we're forecasting.
And there's very little. Is there any interplay between?
There's very little.
Very little. But you feel comfortable though that you could take a team out of one league and plunk it in another league, and your prediction would be predicted.
Yes.
Yeah.
And our metric shows that.
Did you say what is my hockey rankings? What is that?
Another hockey ranking site that we've got all our data from.
But that implies that they have a ranking.
Yes.
Yes.
Your ranking is better than theirs?
Yes.
How do you know that?
Because they're just 66.
No. So
66 you said at the beginning was 66, and then at the end you said football.
Right.
66.
The reason why we say it's better is because when we were looking at the rankings, what happened was that one time there would be a certain team at number 1, and then on next week a team that was not even in the league would be number 1. What happened was that they did not have a criteria for minimum games played. So if somebody played less than 4 games but did really well in those 4 games, they were ranked really high on the top. While what we're saying is that there has to be a minimum number of games.
They have a different procedure. What time is it?
Yeah, they didn't take as many variables into account. They didn't take as many variables into
Yeah.
account as we did.
Do you have any variables about the specific players on the team?
No, we don't
We
have
don't
the
have
data.
that.
No, we
Enough, I said enough.
Okay, we got.
Okay,
Fast
any other
turnover.
questions?
I got
Great.
a number of comments, okay? but
Go ahead,
fast
comments, give them your
turnover.
comments.
Okay. These are all in the reports. I think whatever you've got in there is under there. I'm not belittling the content of what you're doing. But in statement of the problem, what are the existing commercial simulation programs? What do they do to predict the probable outcomes? And is how is their outcome used, okay? We'd like to know that. I don't think you can tell me that right now because we're out of time. On the structure of your problem, how are the ranking points quantified and structured? In other words, explain your parameters. The reader doesn't know. He's intelligent, but he doesn't know all the good things you guys know, all right? And I hope you took the questions that Professor Riccio just asked to heart. The fact that he had to ask them is really a downgrade on a presentation. That should not, for a good listener, be necessary to ask that kind of questions, okay? 30, and you're manipulating. You are. Not clearly shown, we could have used maybe at least one illustrative example of how you computed a point for one of each of these graphs so that we could follow that. You gotta explain the methodology to the reader. It's not here, okay? So label your axes, little things like this in your written report. This is what I'm speaking to. I think the analysis of results, the content of what you have, I gave you full credit for. That's good, but not explicit enough, and not clearly shown how you did what you did, and in your written report, I'd like to see that. Thanks an awful lot.
One last comment from Josh.
I think they did a great job. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to do this. I thought your project management was very hard. You kept ahead of the game with managing the whole project. As I told you guys before, I was happy to see my team that I coached move up 20 spots based on your ranking compared to my own.
Hey, collusion.
And the reason for that, by the way, just in point of comparison, is that they don't take, for my hockey ranking, they don't take into account the recency of the games, whereas the algorithm that these guys formulated does. So, and based on the information that they took, my team we lost all of our first games, but we had won a couple at the very end of the time period that they were taking into account, and that's why we moved up 20 spots. So it made sense. So I think you guys did a great job, and I just want to thank you for that.
Nothing better than a client endorsement.
That's good. All right.
Thank you.
Order of speech, please. The coffee guys, please start setting up. Okay.
Josh, thanks a lot.
Josh?
Yeah.